border agency. You know, if you look at our own situation as a country, we had all kinds of issues, right? We had difficulty in defining who's a tourist, who's a business traveler, and who's coming on employment. And in fact, in the last year itself, we went through a lot of changes in our own country in terms of defining that, as we saw that India itself, with its activity, needed to get people in. And we're very happy that we could work with our own government and get some changes done, where today we have an employment visa clearly defined for highly skilled people. And for those highly skilled people, we followed the kind of practices that are everywhere, which is, you know, $25,000 of cost to company, which is kind of that, you know, levels that are there anywhere else in the world, for whether it was H1 visa or it was a intercompany transfer that you were doing to UK or somebody sending to Switzerland. So I think we have been able to now convince our own government to define the movement of highly skilled people and give them visa, and I'm happy to say that we changed our policies from a 1-year visa that we used to give to a 3-year visa that's available to US citizens. And I think these are changes that will continuously evolve. With the issue of security coming in, I think even more heightened concerns are there all across the world. And I think we must respect each country for that heightened anxiety, if I may call it, on security. So there are these changes that are taking place which we have to take cognizance of. But within those parameters, business has to go on, business will increase, will grow, and I think that movement of people will happen. The fact gets even more complicated when you have a crisis. But I think these issues are not limited there. You know, I think we're today working with the UK government. They're reviewing their entire visa immigration policy. Right? We are fortunate that we do have a seat on the table to present our viewpoint. We've had discussions with the Select Committee for Immigration of the Parliament. We've had a chance to present our case to the Migration Advisory Committee and to the Border Agency. And they are looking at it sympathetically on the intercompany transfers, right? Intra-company transfers should be exempt from quotas, because they've realized that that could be detrimental to business and business in UK. We have seen the recent situation that happened in Switzerland, where there was a quota introduced, and suddenly, just because they announced there was a quota restriction, everything was done in 4 weeks, and all the visas were taken. And I think now they are reviewing their policy on seeing, and it's not about India. Together with US Chamber and others, we have represented to the Swiss government in terms of looking and reviewing the policy. The reason I'm mentioning all this is that we have to take cognizance that there are heightened tensions of jobs, heightened tensions of security threats, because of which today we are seeing increased work that's going on, of restrictions, more compliance, more, shall we say, due diligence as visas get issued. And then we have this other issue today. When you look at people movement, and for example, social security becomes a very major topic, because in countries that you go, because you're working there, you must follow the laws of the land and pay social security. And in many of these countries, we are not able to take any advantage. So over the last, I would say 24 months, India has signed localization treaty, which is what it's called in terms of people who go for short stay, with Germany, Belgium, Switzerland, France, right? And we have been in discussion with the US as well, in terms of saying we probably spend about $1 billion+ today in terms of the social security payments that are made. But these are areas of debate, discussions that will go on. As you know, US itself has signed 23 localization treaties with the developed world. But the issue is that, does India have a social security system which matches US? Now we have our own way of giving social security, whether it is the rural employment guarantee schemes and others, but it doesn't mirror the kind of things that happen in US. So I think there are all these differences that will always be there, and I think we'll continue to debate. So as we look at all this going forward, I think there are 2 different aspects that we need to debate. One is about free flow of people and the other is about compliance within the rules and regulations that are written. I think we should not mix up these two issues. They're distinct issues. And I'm sure, as Abigail will tell you, her role would be to ensure that given the guidelines that are there, that there is compliance around. And I think this entire seminar is about how do we ensure that there is compliance. Rules get very complex. Every country has their own rules. Definitions change. The definitions, interpretation of English words are different. So, when somebody stands up and says to the authority who's interviewing visa processing that I'm going to implement the HR policies, the word implementation by dictionary would probably show a word saying you are going there for work, right? And there would be a denial based on this. I think there is a need for us to continuously have dialogue. Business is very complicated, right? And we don't expect either our side or the people who are issuing visas to be fully conversant. I think there is need for dialogue, and I think a platform like this allows exchange of ideas, but I think we're going to take it up more formally. I believe in a previous session, there was mention of our having a meeting tomorrow with the US immigration people. I think it's a dialogue, right? A dialogue that's not the first time that we're meeting there. We've had discussion with your predecessor, and he had a meeting with about 30 of the officers across the consulates where we gave our perspectives, they shared theirs, and we went back to the companies and came back. Earlier this year, we had a session right here in Bangalore where there were similar representation where we had James here, and also we had the immigration heads of UK and other countries here sharing their perspectives. So I think as we're moving into this growth phase, complex world, I think we all need to be working together on ensuring both the sides, which is about how do we ensure free trade. And as NASSCOM, we are free traders. We work as hard in India to ensure that India becomes an easier country to do business with and in, as we would to take our policy across the world wherever we think it's required. I would hope that we have more chances to interact like this, right, where I'm sure perspectives are given, we have better understanding, and I'm sure as we go forward, we would be able to get more comfort level across borders, both at our side, as people travel to India and work here, and as they go back. I would say that, we had a rule, for example, for any foreigner who came here, and even if the person was here for 3 months to work, we would ask this person to go to the FRO office and present, and I think that's been relaxed, and it's only done for people who are beyond a particular place. So I think we will continue to work here as we would do in other countries. So we look forward to more discussions when we take up the next topic here. But thank you very much for listening to